In the chapter French Revolution, Standard 9, History, we would be doing the topic Outbreak of the Revolution. Louis XVI wanted to increase taxes, but he could not impose taxes at his will. He needed the approval of the States General. Louis XVI, he wanted to increase taxes, but he cannot do it at his own. He had to take the permission of the States General. Now, States General, it was a political body to which the three states sent their representatives. And what was the composition of the States General? The composition of the States General is that first state consisted of 300 representatives, the second state consisted of 300 representatives, and the third state consisted of 600 representatives. This is the composition of the State General. First state के 300 representatives होंगे, second state 300 representatives, and third state 600 representatives. And the third state was represented by the most prosperous and educated members. First case, the third state was represented by the most prosperous and educated members. Peasants, artisans, and women, they were not allowed the entry into the State General. Their problems and demands were listed in 40,000 letters, which their representatives has brought with them. Means representation of the third state was from the most prosperous and rich people. Peasants, artisans, and women, they were not allowed. And the problems and demands of these people, the poor people, they were mentioned in the 40,000 letters. And these 40,000 letters, they were brought by the representatives of the third state. Now let us discuss the system of voting that was done. Now in the past, the first state used to have one vote, the second state used to have one vote, and the third state used to have one vote. Means the past system of voting was all the states were having one vote each. Now the new demands, the members of the third state demanded that voting should be done on democratic lines. The member of the third state, they demanded that voting should be done on the democratic lines. It means each member must have one vote. Now what does this new system says? The new system says that the first state has 300 members, therefore the first state will be having 300 votes. Second state has 300 members, therefore second state will be also having 300 votes. Third state has 600 representatives, therefore the third state will be having 600 votes. Now when this demand was presented in front of the king rejected the proposal, and the members of the third state, they walked out of the assembly in protest. Now when the demand of the members of the third states or the representatives of the third states were rejected by the king, these members, they moved out of the assembly in protest. Now the members of the third states or the representatives of the third state, they met in a tennis court, the indoor tennis court in the grounds of Versailles on 20th June. So on 20th June, all these representatives of the third state, they assembled in the indoor tennis court in the grounds of Versailles. They declared themselves a national assembly. They swore, means they took an oath not to disperse till they had framed or drafted the constitution of France that would limit the powers of the monarch, the king. They were led by Mirabeau and Abesilus. So the oath that they have taken, this oath came to be known as the oath of tennis court. Now what is the entire summary? That the king, they wanted to increase taxes. He cannot do it alone. He had to pass the proposal in the State General. The State General consisted of three states. First state has 300 representatives. Second state has 300 representatives, and third state has 600 representatives. The system of voting in the past was first state one vote, second state one vote, and third state 1 vote. Then now the members of the third state, they demanded a different system of voting. According to their new demands, first state should have 300 votes, second state should have 300 votes, and third state should have 600 votes. Now this proposal was not accepted by the king. So the members of the third state, they left the assembly and they went outside. They met at a near tennis ground, and this is an indoor tennis court in the grounds of Versailles. They met on 20th June, and these members of the third state, they declared themselves a national assembly, and they swore, they took an oath that they will not disperse till they have framed the constitution of France that would limit the powers of the monarch, the king. So this oath that they have taken is known as the oath of tennis court, and they were led by leaders like Mirabeau and Abbassilis.